We're back on the Browns Report, everybody, because we got breaking news. The Cleveland Browns have traded Kenny Pickett to the Las Vegas Raiders. It's about time. I'm your host, Joey O'Donohue, and we got to dive into this right away because, when there's breaking news, we cover it here on the Browns Report. That's why you subscribe. No matter where we are, me and producer Reed getting ready to go home, we get the notification. Let's get back in the studio because I love talking Browns football, and we got to talk about this. So make sure you're subscribed, have your notifications on because we're ready. Let's get into it. Here's the tweet from Adam Schefter. The trade details. The Browns are sending Kenny Pickett to the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders needed another backup for Geno Smith with Aidan O'Connell fracturing his wrist in the preseason finale and being expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks. So the Raiders needed to make a trade for a backup. And Cleveland, well, hey, we've got 4 quarterbacks in the room. Go ahead, take one off our hands. I have been saying this for so long. Cleveland will get a 5th-round pick in 2026 for Kenny Pickett, which is good value, honestly. Remember, Cleveland gave up a 5th to get Pickett, as well as DTR, who you didn't need, and the Eagles didn't even need. They waived DTR earlier today. So it's almost as if Cleveland didn't even make an original trade, and they got to just workshop Pickett and have a little QB competition in the room. So I'm totally cool with it. I like the trade a lot, and I've never been big on Kenny Pickett. And you look at the Browns QB room now, we're down to 3. Joe will get the number 1 start, and look at this. Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders have a chance now to get in later in the season. But as I said, I've never been big on Kenny Pickett. Take a look at his career stats here. I mean, never been anything to write home about or speak of, and I've been adamant about this on the show. Look at 2023. His QBR was 38.1. It's abysmal. The year before had more interceptions than touchdowns. Those were his 2 years as a starting quarterback in the National Football League for a division rival, Pittsburgh Steelers. So I already had a little bias. I didn't like him because he was a Steeler. Then Cleveland brings him in. And I've never been impressed with anything I've seen from Pickett in football. It never made sense to have him second on the depth chart. I think it's good that Cleveland finally shipped him out. But I do want to know, you had to tell me your one-word reaction right off the bat to this Kenny Pickett trade. Put it in the comments. One word. You can elaborate if you want. But go ahead. What's your immediate one-word reaction to this deal? I like it, honestly. I'm happy for the Browns. And as I said, it's about time. I've been saying this. If you watch the show, I've said in multiple videos that I don't understand Pickett being quarterback 2 on our depth chart. Let's try to trade him or Gabriel and make way for the future, who I think is Shedeur Sanders. But again, not a great time to bring that up now because people are crucifying him for his preseason finale performance, but I still believe in the kid. And Pickett was never needed on this roster. There was no reason for it. We claimed the starter was Joe Flacco. So you don't need 2 sort of veteran guys that aren't the quarterback of anyone's future. So now, finally, we can just have the rookies learn as they should be from 40-year-old Super Bowl MVP Joe Flacco, who's going to go out there, light it up for the Browns. I'm hyped about it, week 1. Might even pick them to beat the Bengals. If you're looking for something to bet on, a plus money, go Cleveland Browns, week 1. But anyways, I do think now we can actually see Gabriel or Sanders at some point this season. They're not stuck behind 26-year-old Kenny Pickett, who's not going to do anything promising. And now he's going to be a backup in Las Vegas where they could actually use him because of their injury issues at quarterback. So Cleveland didn't need Pickett. He was the most expendable quarterback in the room, in my opinion, especially with what we saw from Dillon Gabriel in preseason. It was somewhat impressive. There were positives, especially in his game against the Rams. So now we can keep both rookies, have that be a battle for QB2. This is what it should have been all along. Not only that, but now Cleveland has a little bit more room to sign another depth piece, right? We're not having quarterbacks take up roster spots. And, the most important thing for Cleveland has always been to find their quarterback. We've had so much trouble doing it in years past. Now Cleveland can have a real battle between you got the veteran at 1, 2 rookies that they've evaluated in the draft and took a chance on to battle it out. So it'll be promising. Cleveland can go out and bolster up the roster in other parts of the field, not have to have quarterbacks taking up space. And not to mention, Deshaun Watson still wants to try and come back. He's posted Instagram stories of him working out as if he's going to try and play this season and add to this quarterback room. So it's good to have a little bit of space and leeway now with Kenny Pickett out of the picture. And again, I've never thought that he was someone that needed to be in the picture post-NFL draft after getting Gabriel in the 3rd round and Shedeur in the 5th round. Let's let the young guys battle it out to try and be a quarterback of the future, potentially. Let them develop under Flacco. But what say you? Give me a grade on the Kenny Pickett trade. You know the grading scale, A through F. If you had to do your own report card on this trade, let me know in the comments right now what it would be. Personally, I would give it an A-. You know I'm hyped about it finally happening. I'd been predicting it. Only reason it's not an A is because they got Pickett in the first place for no reason. But now it's as if the deal didn't even happen. You gave away a 5th. You got a 5th back because the Raiders needed quarterback help. So personally, I think it's great for Cleveland. It's something to be excited about. 2026 5th round pick. Hey, there could be value in that. A lot of good players have come out of the 5th round. Shedeur Sanders, a 5th round pick this year. We'll see how he turns out to be. But again, good for Cleveland. Good for Vegas as well. But it's kind of expensive, honestly, if you're the Raiders to give up for Kenny Pickett. You know, a 5th round pick next year, right away. That could turn out to be a value piece for the Browns. Question is, who will be QB2 now that Pickett is out of the picture? Will it be Shedeur Sanders, the Browns' 5th round pick, the guy who led the FBS in completion percentage, who didn't really have much of an offensive line, didn't have much of a run game at Colorado, but analysts were predicting would be the 1st or 2nd quarterback taken off the board, and he slid all the way to pick 144. The guy drafted before him in Cleveland's war room is Dylan Gabriel out of Oregon. Little undersized, they say, under 6 foot. But still got stats to speak of. I mean, in 2024, 30 touchdowns, nearly 73% completion percentage. And I believe he was a conference player of the year, offensive player of the year. So can't discredit what Gabriel did during his tenure in college. He's a little bit older. He was there for a while, but both of them had flashes of greatness in the preseason. Both of them also had rookie mistakes in the preseason. Gabriel with the pick 6. Sanders with the fumble and taking a big sack. But Sanders' first preseason game, 2 phenomenal touchdown throws. Gabriel against the Rams led a touchdown drive where he went 9 of 11. Flashes of great, flashes of rookies. One of them can be QB2 and eventually take the reins from Flacco because Flacco's not going to be around much longer, let's face it. Hey, if he's winning games, I'm hyped to go with Flacco all season long. Why not? I think he will give Cleveland a few wins. But there are some tough games on the schedule, so I don't foresee Flacco being the starter for long. So I want to know, who should be QB2 for the Browns? Type SS for Shedeur Sanders. Type DG for Dylan Gabriel. As you know, I do think Shedeur has the higher ceiling, but I understand the argument that maybe Gabriel is better for right now in terms of short yardage completions, game managing the game. But I'm not giving up on Shedeur Sanders. I think he's a guy that should eventually be the QB2 and overtake the reins. You know I've been saying it for a while, but big trade news in Cleveland. Say goodbye to Kenny Pickett. That quarterback room just got a little bit smaller. We're excited to see what the Browns do. And as I said, make sure you subscribe because we immediately let you know the best news, analysis, and reaction to everything Cleveland Browns football. We'll see you next time here on the Browns Report.